Hey there. I'm glad to have you here with me tonight, and hopefully you're doing well. It's been a pretty rough week, hasn't it? It has been for me. Usually, when we go through the whole 9/11 anniversary, it's become kind of routine after 24 years. But never in the wildest dreams would we have to imagine that we'd be reliving that type of feeling again. Many of you, if you don't know what happened, you've been living under a rock. But I really wanted to touch base on it, and I don't want to live here forever, but I do want to say that the heaviness is definitely still palatable. At this point, they have captured his assailant, and now it's kind of finding out what's going to happen, and they're going to be peeling back the layers of the onion. But what I wanted to focus in on is the awareness and the outpouring of love and respect for this one individual who wanted the best for his fellow mankind and for our beloved country. You know, a lot of people have been saying, well, I am Charlie. You know, I want to find out how many people it really does stick. If you remember back on the days of 9/11 when it was still fresh, a lot of people wanted to enlist in the army and do their part. And I felt that same kind of feeling again, you know, when we were starting talking about Turning Point USA and how we could make this work and how we could help and keep his dream alive. Let's not forget that Charlie Kirk did not graduate from college. He was a genius when you think about it. He started Turning Point USA at the age of 18. And he had a vision. He found a problem and he went after it. That's what entrepreneurs do. They see a need and they fill it. I was part of an entrepreneurship as well. And I loved every minute of it. Deborah and I had an electrical contracting business that was amazing. She was amazing. Such a talented person to go into a man's field of work and make a name for herself. She had a oh my gosh, I can't speak. She had a reputation that went before her when we would go on job sites. She was the engine that could, and I was the fuel that filled that engine. My whole point is Charlie Kirk saw a need, and he had the entrepreneurial spirit at the age of 18. And he created a situation that could not be denied. He's so smart. The facts, the things that he read, all poured out of him. And I think what it is, a lot of people have been saying, either through social media, podcasts, interviews, why is this affecting me so much? I didn't even know him. I think the same thing. I didn't know him. I barely even really, I knew of him, but I didn't follow him. Why did that resonate so deeply with me? Why is it so heavy? I lead a grief group, and we discuss grief and why things affect us a certain way. But I really believe when it comes to Charlie Kirk, it's not so much the way he was assassinated, how he was taken down. That's terrible. But what resonates is the awareness of the human spirit He had a human spirit that wanted to fight for fellow man. He had a human spirit that saw a need, and that need was to communicate. He wanted to bridge a gap. He went to the problem and he saw that he needed to go to his own age group, even younger. He knew that the college age people, the teenagers, those that were young adults, were not communicating with each other. He saw there was a problem and there was a great divide that needed to be gapped. And he put himself in that gap to become the bridge and say, let's have a conversation. Matter of fact, he had a rule. If you have beef with him over a certain subject, you go to the front of the line. Because the whole premise of his outreach, because that's what it was like an evangelical outreach, not just about religion or faith or anything like that. He did talk about that, but it was like, I'm going to bridge the gap. And where people, rather than hold resentment and have silence, we're going to talk about this and bring it out to the open. That's so respectful, because who's going to do that? And he goes, and I'm not going to have you come to me. I'm coming to you. And that's why he went to the campuses. And they would berate him and belittle him and minimize his beliefs and his values. But he's like, well, let's see. You have beef with me? You don't like what I'm saying? You get to the front of the line. And that was a rule of his. Let's talk. I'm going to give you room to say what you need to say. You don't need to yell and scream. But let's have a conversation. He put himself out there. I can't think of a lot of people that want to have confrontations. When you think about it, majority of the people don't want to have a confrontation. They don't want to have a discussion. But he challenged it. He said, let me learn something about you. Maybe you'll learn something from me. But he stood on his beliefs. He stood on what he believed in, which made him the man that he was. People have been talking about the title of martyr. To me, it feels a bit odd because he led the way, almost like a crusade, just to bridge a gap. You know, maybe that is a proper word, but he didn't go out there to die. He died in the process because somebody didn't know how to communicate. They didn't want to hear what he had to say, and they took him out. No one deserves that. And you find it more prevalent because the people that are not, quote unquote, to the right or didn't believe in the same way that he did, some of them are actually saying, man, that's rough. Nobody deserves to be taken out of the world like that. And for what? Because he wanted to have a discussion, a frank, open discussion where you could speak your mind and I'll tell you my side if you'll just listen. That's what's missing. That's what's missing in this world, is the ability to hear someone, to listen. And maybe, out of respect, you would return the favor. He was a young soul. He was a young father, a loving husband to a wonderful wife, and a son who loved his God and his Savior, Jesus Christ. He always pointed everyone in the direction of where he believed he was making the right choice. I stand there too. I too. It doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. But you know, we're not here to ridicule and to ostracize other people for their choices. We're here to be amongst each other and understand each other and maybe just listen to each other. I agree. If someone is combative and they don't want to talk, chances are you can't resolve anything, especially if no one will listen. But here's a man who wanted to say, you tell me, what is it that you don't agree with? Tell me what your issues are. Come to the table and let's talk. And maybe if I listen to you, you'll listen to me. Maybe we'll each learn something about each other. Maybe we may change our minds about something, and maybe not. But the whole point is to talk to each other. We don't need to hate each other just because of a difference of opinion. And we certainly don't need to kill each other in the process either. I think that's why it hurts so much. It's because it got to the nth degree of taking someone's life when it didn't need to be. Because the human spirit resonates in all of us. It reaches into our soul, into the depths of our being. That's why it resonates so deeply within us. Because it's painful. It's a painful existence. And it hurts. I could only wish to be half the person, to stand up for my faith the way he did. I don't have a husband. I don't have any children. But I love the way he loved his family. He respected his wife. His wife respected him. They adored each other. They were just starting a family. And he cared about people. It didn't matter if they said foul things to him. It didn't matter how they treated him. He still smiled. He said it's okay. Because I think he recognized that people were hurting. They were frustrated. They weren't being heard. He tried to bridge the gap. And as someone told me recently, now what are we going to do about this? What are you going to do? And I ask myself that. What am I going to do to make it better? We probably will never have another Charlie Kirk. Maybe we will. But here's our chance to step up. And something that he started, now is a chance to move forward. Think about it. We all need a do-over at some time. And I hope you step up to the plate, because I'm considering it as well. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. And always be blessed and good to yourself. God bless you.